seconds and.
Yep.
We'll see what happens. Just don't worry about
An expense claim.
I'd like to welcome everyone to Caradoc Housing Corporation meeting on June 15th, 2023. Before we begin, we do have two people in the audience tonight, two new members, Heather Martineau and Tim Zavitz. They will be confirmed by council this coming Monday, but he thought it important to have them here so they can observe the proceedings and get some understanding of what we do. So before we begin, declaration of pecuniary interest. Seeing none. And one other thing to note, number 4, in-camera matters. We'll move that to the end of the meeting, just everyone. Okay, someone to approve the minutes of our May 18th meeting. Councillor Palmer, second by Councillor Kennis. All in
I
favor?
wasn't here, I don't know if I can do that or not.
Oh, you weren't here.
I was here.
Director Dakin. Item 3, financial matters. Let's turn this over to Director Dakin. He can run through all of it for us.
So the first matter is our check details. So this is just a listing of the checks that were approved. There's really nothing of the ordinary here. It's pretty standard. You'll see the ongoing checks towards the new construction, the one with south side. So that was the increase in the insurance piece. So that's what that 7,000 is for. Increase the insurance. So it included the wrap-up insurance. So other than that, that's the check listing.
Guess we need a motion to accept the check detail. Councillor Kennis, second by Councillor Palmer. All in favor? Carried. Back over to you, Director Dakin.
The next group of reports is basically the balance sheet, the income statement, a trial balance, and then budget to actual. So under the balance sheet, I'll just call everyone's attention to now we've started adding in the Adelaide Street project as we're getting further along on that process. So that you'll see that's been added both under the assets as well as the liability. So that's one of the major changes from the last time you saw these reports. That's pretty standard, obviously. Like we said, one of the things that we're going to do is once the project's completed, we'll split those out. So we'll have separate, the assets will show the same, but on our profit and loss, we'll have two separate profits and loss so that the board has a better understanding of the profit and loss of the individual buildings. The next is sort of the income, profit and loss or an income statement. So for the month of May, total income just shy of 12,000, total expenses just shy of 7,000. So net income of about $5,100 on the property at Queen Street. The next one is basically just a trial balance, so that just shows you all of the accounts within the Caradoc Housing. Last but not least is the budget to actual, and one of the things that you'll notice here is there's been some changes. We've got the money that came in from the province showing under income to the tune of about 685,000. So that kind of skews the numbers a little bit when you look at the budget to actual, although in the budget we've also included both of the properties just in anticipation. So right now, as far as income goes, the majority, the lion's share of that income is from the rental at the 2500 Queen Street. And again, same with a lot of the expenses. They are pretty well all the 2500 Queen Street. So if you go to page 16 of the reports, but page 4 of this actual balance sheet, it shows that we have a net income of about 709,000, which when you pull the 685 out, shows our net income year-to-date of $24,151. So I think that's it for those. Happy to answer any questions if there is any.
Yeah. Sorry, Councillor Kennis.
Just a question on the balance sheet. The existing building, the old building, it's been depreciated down to zero. The land underneath that, is that leased from municipality or is it owned by Caradoc Housing? And I just wondered whether it's of any value to have some sort of market value for that property, just to show everyone out there that there's a building there that has quite a bit of value that we're not accounting for any value.
Through the chair to Mr. Kens. So I believe the building and land is at the time of acquisition. So obviously that land is owned by Caradoc Housing because it is theirs, but it's listed at the acquisition cost. So that 500 includes everything that was done back in the 80s on that property. So it is fully depreciated, and it would, you are correct, it's probably a good idea to get some sort of evaluation of that property, and we're more than happy to do that.
Yeah. Thanks, and I believe you're right. I think I've read the letters, Pat, and I actually have them in my desk. I think the land is with Caradoc Housing. So it was Caradoc Township at the time, so it is with the Housing Authority. Any other questions? Seeing none, have a motion to accept the financial reports. Councillor Palmer, second by Councillor Kennis. All in favor? Thank you. Move on to the item 6, the general review report, the status report of the construction. If I can get it up here.
So that report is in front of you. I think for the most part you can sort of just see the progress. You can see some of the deficiencies as well. Obviously we have the architect, NSA, they're also operating as a project manager and they're overseeing a lot of those things. So we do attend bi-weekly site meetings for the new members. We're more than happy to entertain if you want to come. So I think last week was on, so obviously today would have been, so it's next Thursday is our next site meeting. They're typically at 9 a.m. There's a meeting just with the construction piece, but then at 9:30, around 9:30, we're typically done, and we're more than happy to take you through. Typical, just hard hat. We'll have hard hats and vests, but if you have safety shoes, that'd be great. And then we can tour the facility. Things are really moving along. There was a couple hiccups you can see in the pictures. The idea is it'll look like 3 houses sort of put together, so you sort of see the difference in the brick construction. You've got gray, there's a brown, and then there's a red. So each section's a different color, so you can see those bricks are going on now. There was an issue with the foundation when we came to the brick ledge in a couple spots, so they've had to repair that, and you'll see that in a couple of the photos. Photo 7 exactly in the report shows the picture where what we're having to do is cut out part of the foundation, reform it, put the rebar into it, and then build it up so there's a ledge for the bricks to sit on. It was a little skewed there. Other than that, things are progressing quickly. Right now we're looking at tentatively occupancy date of November of this year. Giving supplies and stuff, we'll see how that works out. We're hoping, the big thing we're waiting on right now is the transformer for the hydro. That's back ordered. Should be showing up maybe August. We're trying to get a firm date on that. And hopefully that gets in, then that moves things along pretty quick once we get that. There will be a need to, we're gonna be bringing in a generator so that we can test the elevator. They're at that stage where they're putting the elevator in, so that'll be probably before we get our transformer, so we'll need to get a generator for that. But other than that, things are progressing quickly, and there's, that report sort of outlines any of the deficiencies and concerns, so happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Councillor Kennis?
So when do you start looking at prospective tenants, I guess, is, and how's that happen?
So currently we have collected names and addresses and phone numbers of people that are interested. We're working diligently to try and find a project manager, not a project manager, a property manager that we can sort of hand that over to, because it's gonna be the full rent out and all that kind of stuff. So we're trying to probably come up with about 3 property managers that we could bring back here. Then the board can decide on that. We can get some costing from them. We were thinking of doing an RFP, but the problem is you'd probably get some distant property managers where we run into issues. So we're working with just Southside and a few others, trying to get some names of some good ones. Also reaching out to the London Housing, Middlesex Housing. They had expressed interest in one of our meetings with them, maybe looking at that component. So we're just waiting to get those back, but obviously we need to get that done sooner than later. So, and the idea would be then put packages together, contact all those people that are on the list. Obviously we would sort of move through that list and the dates in which they came in. Because right now we haven't really expressed any rents. So obviously that would be a big thing for a lot of people, to know what the rent is before they move in, obviously. So once we get those things nailed down, then we can start moving towards that. Yeah, so that's where that's at.
Do you have anything? Just a request, Director Dakin, just on the distribution list of the report, just we can update that with the current members and see if they get emailed the bi-weekly reports also.
Yeah.
I think it's Nathan who does that report. Okay. Have a motion to accept the general review report. Councillor Kennis, Councillor Pammer, all in favor? Item 7, unfinished business. I did have one, and that was an update on the annual general meeting. We had a tentative date, I believe it was the 29th, but we've had to delay it, just taking some time to complete the governance portion, the bylaws, and I'm gonna say some other stuff. Could you complete my sentence for me, Bill?
So, to the best of my knowledge, we're still on schedule for the 29th of June at Caradoc, at the Caradoc Community Center at 5 o'clock for that meeting. I did reach out to Wayne Mahar, who was working on the governance pieces. There's a couple pieces that we will have cleaned up, but there's a couple others that will then end up having to come back to this board as well as council after, but we didn't see any need to necessarily prolong that meeting.
Okay. I should have asked for the update before I spoke.
No worries.
But one time it was. Okay. Is there any other unfinished business? Did you have anything, Councillor Cannon, Councillor Pammer? Okay. Move on to item 8, other business. Is there any other business? And I'll apologize, I do have one, and this could have gone under 7. just an update on the county loan program to cover the $1 million shortfall that right now the municipality is covering. That should be, and I haven't checked, it should be on the agenda for this Tuesday's county council meeting, so we will have an answer back after that meeting, so.
I also have a meeting with the county treasurer on Monday morning at 9 on that issue, so hopefully that'll be in good timing.
Okay. I think that's it, Director Dakin. I think that's all the unfinished business. We will, so it still shows on there for June 29th for the annual general meeting. The next Caradoc housing meeting is Thursday, July 20th. We now need to go into closed session in camera. The board may move into closed session to discuss a personal matter for an identifiable individual as permitted by section 239 of the Ontario Municipal Act and Council's procedure bylaw. And I think it's okay for me to state that it's strictly the caretaker's report. And from time to time, the caretaker's report does identify tenants, so it's prudent that we go into camera to discuss that matter. I have a motion to go in camera. Councillor Pammer, seconded by Councillor Kennis. All in favor? Carried. back in open session. The purpose of the closed session or in camera was to discuss the personal matter about identifiable individual as permitted by section 239 of the Ontario Municipal Act and Council's procedure bylaw. Essentially, we discussed the caretaker's report. I believe that's it. You have a motion to adjourn.
No.
Yes.
Do we need a motion to direct Director Dakin to get the property evaluation?
Yeah, if you want to make. Yes, if somebody wants to make a motion.
So I'll make that motion that we request to Director Dakin a property evaluation of the Adelaide Street property. You can put the correct number in the minutes. Exact address.
The Adelaide Street or the Queen Street?
Queen
Sorry.
Street,
Sorry, I meant Queen Street,
Yeah.
yeah.
the Queen Street, the present, and seconded by Councillor Kennis. All in favor? Carried. Anything else? Now we'll have a motion to adjourn. Councillor Kennis, Councillor Pammer, all in favor?